you guys remember the worst guitar in the universe? Here it is again. I always try to reference it at the beginning of these videos. So here's the sanded off front. This was before I sanded the sides. You can see the hole I drilled in for the VU meter over there on the other side. So we're laying out our Nautilus shell. And if it's not clear to anybody yet who's been following me on social media, this is going to be a steampunk guitar. So the first thing we're doing is removing the meat of the cavity we need to make to fit the gears in. And a couple spade bits will make quick work of that. Using my trim router, go ahead and get rid of the rest of the cavity there. And I went in and shaved the rest of those edges off with the router. And changing the bits out, now we want to get a bit with a bearing on it that has just about 1.5 millimeters overhang of the actual cutting bit. So this will follow the inside and leave me with a nice little ridge on top of the cavity so that we can set the plastic on it. The plastic being plexiglass for the cover. There we go, nice little shelf. We'll sharpen everything up a little bit more and move on to the next step. Here's the little drive motor for the gear system I'm coming up with. I was trying to get the depth right so I could see how deep I needed to put this into the guitar. A little bit of tape around the drill bit. And then I used the bit to sort of, once again, take out the meat of the hole. I was being very, very careful because I was probably about 2 mil from coming out the back of the guitar. It was very close. And then I'm just evening up the hole a little bit. The motor fits down in there. I had to shim it up to make it fit perfectly tight because I wanted it to sit parallel to the bottom of the cavity. This is just a shot of starting to drill the hole out for the new input jack. And those who have seen the tubular input jack video will know what I'm talking about. Alright, so we're just soldering on the leads to the motor. And it works. Pretty happy about that. This is a 6-volt motor, but it can run at 9 volts, and I'm probably going to use a resistor to take it down to 3 so it goes a little bit slower. And just putting some foil in the back of the cavity so that we can maintain that sort of industrial look. Steampunk, Victorian industrial look. Setting up, testing the space for the next gear. And I just used a little pin nail to hold the gears in place. Being careful, of course, not to hammer so far down that the gear won't turn. And then quick test, and it works as well. Another gear, another test. There we go. And now a detour to the shed. We're going to cut the little acrylic fascia to cover up the gears. Nothing's worse than getting your gears all dusty, and I figured if we did a little glass cover under there, not only would it look cool, but it would offer some protection. And then just using the Dremel, using a polishing stone, I'm just sort of eating away at the excess that we don't need. We want to make it fit as nice as we can. There we go. Took a little bit of fiddling, a little bit of hand filing on the edges to make it fit perfectly. We got it in there. And we're going to put the plate on, which is the Nautilus cutout that I have sort of antiqued in the same way I antiqued the input jack, which you would have seen a couple videos ago. And I drilled some holes to put these brass screws in. And then we test it with it on there, and it's good to go. A lot more to come with this guitar. I'm excited to get to the bodywork soon. We're just about done with the hardware. See, I put a couple more gears in there for fun. Appreciate you guys supporting me like you do. Stick around. I think it's going to be a very cool project. Like, share, and subscribe to help me out. As always, thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.